Hi, welcome to Triangle Spotlight. I'm Suzanne Lynn. I'm glad that you're joining us. My guest today, I don't know. I don't know him, but I feel like I know him because I've been following Mark King on social media. And excuse me, I know that he can do some amazing handstands, and he's like father of the year. If I could vote for somebody, it would definitely be Mark, because you're just so
Wow.
fun and interactive on social media. And we're going to get into all the law stuff that you do, but my gosh, you put yourself out there on social media, and I think that's such a beautiful lesson that we should all take. Don't be so stuffy. Come on, life is fun, right?
It is. It is. I appreciate those comments. I pride myself on being a good dad. I've got three girls. I'm a girl dad. Uh, my daughters have dubbed me the dad of only daughters, because that's all I have is girls. But uh, but yeah, I enjoy that. I agree. Like, let's just be. God created us to be. Love God and love other people. He created us for community. So why not just share yourself? I mean, it's a tough world. There's a lot of crazy things out there and people out there, but I live for the moment, and like I love to share and bring joy. Yeah, at the end of the day.
That's amazing. I mean, especially in these times when we're cooped up at home, we're doing a lot of scrolling, and all of a sudden I see Mark doing, a dance with his daughters. It makes me a little teary because it's so beautiful. And
Oh,
I just think we should be more like that. Just not so worried about putting on appearances. Not that you don't do a fine handstand. I'm just saying.
well, that took a lot of work, Susan.
Yeah. Well, and when you did get up, you were getting up very gracefully. Did when you didn't make it. So,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
won't show you how I got up the next morning.
right, right. I understand that story. But
Appreciate
Mark,
that, Suzanne.
when you talk about community and just being real and helping people, one of the things that really attracted me to what you're doing is the sense of community that you have. So why don't you talk about the law firm and where you're at and what community has to do with it?
Well, for sure. Obviously, community is quintessential to being in the community association industry, which I've seen you do some stuff on that as well,
Mhm.
with Betsy. But my wife and I, Florence King, we have been doing community association work for quite some time. Just to clarify, she's the attorney, I'm the business development guy, but we've kind of been a tag team for almost 14 to 15 years now. We had a prior firm, and just being in the industry for such a long time, I like to call it an entrepreneurial spirit. And
Mhm.
entrepreneurs see problems and try to create solutions. So, over the years, I've just seen so many different things happening in community associations that I felt didn't need to be that way. And fortunately, my wife and I, being able to be at the Orlando Law Group, has been such a blessing to rethink things, innovate, create new ideas, bring solutions to the industry, especially from a legal standpoint. Because at the end of the day, you buy a home in a community association if you really understand what you're doing, and a lot of people don't, and that's a whole nother subject. But you do that to get protection for your property values,
Mhm.
because the rules and regulations ensure that your property values stay intact, and it's
Right.
typically the largest investment somebody makes in their lifetime is in their home. So for me, being a guy that loves people, cares about people, very much a people person. I found this industry very intriguing to be able to help people, create sustainability and stability for one of their biggest investments. So at the Orlando Law Group, Florence and I have come to the firm to kind of reinvigorate and help the community association practice grow.
Mm.
So we've kind of taken a leadership place at the firm to take that portion of our practice of law and make fresh ideas happen. We've come up with a community care package, which makes doing the legal stuff more affordable for
Mm.
associations. But our tagline, though, which I'm super excited about and proud of, is putting community back into association law. And at the end of the day, the law field and doing legal work sometimes can be very adversarial in nature.
Mhm.
When you got a divorce or family law or whatever, you got two people kind of pitting it against each other, and it's the adversarialness that causes the billable hours to go up and the money to go up for the firms, which is a good thing for a firm if you're thinking capitalistically,
Mhm.
in terms of financial gain. But for us, um, we've tried to take a fresh approach to that and minimize those that adversarialness, because it's a complete conflict in terms of a community association that has a board, that has members within the community, and you're trying to build this harmony. And when you have legal issues and people not following the rules, well, what happens? Boom, 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 boom.
You can't
So,
walk the dog down the street then.
right,
You know,
right.
right.
You can't park your business car. You can't get solar energy. You
Right.
gotta, there's so many things that happen. But at the end of the day, nobody wants to live next to a neighbor that is on the board that's that's bringing up your faults and flaws, and then has to pull you to the carpet and involve legal to get you to follow the rules. At the end of the day, we should all be community minded in the first place. But in a world where everything is, I want it now, fast-paced society, home-based businesses, everything is changing so fast in our generation. It's hard to focus on other people. So involved in your own situation that you don't think about how your things that you're doing that might be convenient may be distracting or inconveniencing others. So.
Well, and it's tough because, sometimes we're dragged on these boards. I'm not a lawyer. How am I supposed to know? I just want to put in my time. I want to bang the gavel and be done for this month. We need help.
Right. And that's probably one of the biggest issues I see in the industry right now. You have a board for an association. You have usually you have a community association manager and a management company, and then you have a law firm, right? And so you have budgets. You're trying to minimize the amount of money that it takes to get things and hold people accountable. And a lot of times, a management company is trying to do a service by avoiding the extra expenditures of involving a law firm. So they try to manage their way out of legal stuff, which, as we know over the last few years with statute changes and whatnot, we're really going to have to start talking about what really is the definitive unlicensed practice of law and what is really management. And the problem is management companies are trying to do a service, but they're trying to do things that they really aren't as equipped and not supposed to do.
They don't see the value until the bills arrive, right? Until they've messed up, and oh my gosh, I got into an area I didn't realize how little I know, and now I've got us in more trouble.
Right. You have a lot of managers trying to help boards rewrite their documents, and that's a tough situation because it really involves you've got to really interpret statutes to figure out what to put in, how to put it in, and whatnot. And there's just so many things. And certainly, shout out to all the community association managers out there, management companies, because they're doing a great service trying to keep boards on task so they don't have to work as hard. Being volunteers in the first place, right? They don't get paid to be on a board. Right. A lot of people, like you mentioned, do get dragged onto the board because they have good business acumen and leadership skills. But who wants to go to board meetings and lead all the time? You didn't buy a house to get a new job. You bought a house to relax and enjoy your harmony and just to when you go to work, you come home and you want to relax. So, but management companies and there's this trifecta of I don't know if conflict's the right word, but to try to get those three entities to work together is the challenge. And we're trying to come in on the back end and do some things that are creative that help make that happen easier.
I see you as a community legal specialist. I mean, the difference between just full service law firms and community service, you're going to know a lot more of the details and the nuances and be up to date on trends and new things that are breaking and happening. So that's huge. It's kind of like going to a dentist for heart. I mean, probably got some schooling on it, but
the great thing and the most refreshing thing for me being where I'm at now in the community association industry, it's always been seen as a positive to have a law firm representing your association that is dedicated solely to community association law. And for a long time, I definitely saw the benefit and the pros of that. However, being on a different side now and being at a law firm like the Orlando Law Group that has a multitude of practice areas. We do everything from personal injury, obviously community association law. We do contract disputes, business law, everything, if you think of it. But that said, we have a dedicated area of practice that's dedicated to community associations, which my wife, having close to 15 years of experience in about a year, is leading that charge with a great team of paralegals. The challenge is, if you only do association law, well, that's your revenue stream. And that's your only revenue stream. So when things aren't adversarial, how do you pay your bills? Because you're not really doing anything. So that's, I think, one of the biggest conflicts with the industry right now. It's good. You want the dedicated expertise. So at the Orlando Law Group, you have the dedicated expertise, but you also don't have a firm that's relying on our nonprofit community associations to generate our revenue. That's when you call your lawyer at a slow time and ask them a question, and you get the bill at the end of the month for that 0.5 or whatever it is. It's like, hey, why am I paying you for this phone call?
Right.
They're never going to tell you this, but the reason is they have to generate revenue to pay payroll.
Sure.
It's very simple. It's simple business economics, really. But if you don't have a reliance on that revenue stream, you don't need to do all that. So
you really have the best of both with us.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I couldn't be happier. I love being able to provide solutions and not have to worry. We are a very, financially healthy firm. We have revenue streams coming from all over the place, and I've never had to worry about billing a client for a simple question just because money was tight. Money's not, I don't want to say that our firm is the richest firm in the nation or anything, but it's never a deciding factor on whether we bill a client or not. More times than not, especially for community association, we try to give those freebies when we can. What's interesting is it's almost as if, because my title is actually Director of Community Outreach at the Orlando Law Group, only because business development that Director of Business Development title is reserved for all the business development of the entire firm. I certainly do business development for the community side, but it's almost as if the community association work, it's not free, of course. I have the Director of Business Development title is typically reserved for the overall business development of the entire firm. So my title as Director of Community Outreach focuses specifically on developing business in the community association industry. And the unique thing, which I love, is the community association practice. While it's certainly not free, you have to charge for business, but it's almost like the community outreach for the firm to just be a benefit to the overall communities that we serve and help them so that they can get some services and get some help from our firm for really a fraction of the price of everybody else that's out there, to be quite frank.
It's interesting as I hear you talk, and obviously your firm is doing very well, and it's financially healthy. But I have a feeling, just based on this little bit of conversation we've had, that you're finding a lot of value in relationships and gratitude to be able to give back. And your final score isn't based on money.
No, it's not. And that takes a lot more pressure off of me as well, as somebody who's trying to generate business. We have the opportunity to really provide solutions. And the thing is, there's ample opportunity in the industry to provide some solutions, and we've come up with some things that have helped that. We have everything from that. That's one of the reasons why we created the community care package, which we can get into that in a little bit, but it provides an opportunity for associations to get all the work that they need to do for a small fraction of the price they would pay otherwise. And the biggest the biggest importance of that package is that because our firm is not, generating our revenue solely on our community associations, we don't have to charge what everybody charges. The thing that happens, and I call this the elephant in the room, and when I talk to associations, I make sure I bring this up. There's a lot of people out there that are providing what they're calling free service for associations. Because they can offer it free, but it's really not free. It's free to the association, but on the back end, per the statute, let's take collections or covenant enforcement or whatever as an example. An association member that is in collections is responsible for the legal costs and fees for a collection effort. So there are a lot of law firms out there saying, oh, association, board, this is a free service. We'll do all of your collections for free. And no lie, I learned the other day that there's firms out there charging $300-400 for pre-suit litigation letters, intent to liens and demand letters.
Wow.
And you know how much ours are? I think $120.
Wow.
So it's a third of the price. So, and that's how
it's free to the board, but it's going to the people who are being affected, who might be in dire straits anyway, right?
Certainly.
Somebody's picking it up in that case.
Right. And so what's happening is the association members are getting these letters and they're going to the board like, why did my $500 bill become $1,000 now because you sent it to the attorney? Now, in the board's defense, they're like, because we've asked you to pay. And, you know, a lot of people, and this is important right now, especially with COVID-19, people think that they're paying their assessments for the use of their amenities, their clubhouse, their pools or whatever. You're not really paying for the use, you're paying for the upkeep. It's a part of a shared responsibility. So, you know, when you don't pay your assessments, you've got to, as a nonprofit, you've got to pull people to the carpet and say, I need you to pay this dues. And you signed up for that when you bought your home.
Right.
But on the other end, for an association member to have a $500 delinquency double and triple because it's gone to the law firm.
It's just blindsided.
That's not fair. And then the associations, the boards typically don't really know. They don't pay attention to how much that charges. They just know, hey, we got our money coming in. But that's just, look, that's just not right. And the joy that I have is we don't have to do that. We offer free collections and free covenant enforcement, but we don't charge $300, $400, $500 for our work. It's a fair price because, you know, we certainly make a little bit of money on what we do. We have to as a business, but it's nowhere near what everybody else charges because we don't need to. Right. So it's really a service to the communities that we serve.
I feel like we're just scratching the surface. I can't believe we're already almost 18 minutes into this. I have to talk to you about this, though, that when communities were set up maybe 20, 25 years ago, there were statutes. Is that what you say? Statutes. There were rules that were set up several years ago that aren't up to modern time. I mean, you talked about solar panels and, I mean, working from home. Are you a business? Like, this is all like modern day problems.
That is my biggest push right now. And it's not, again, it's not really to generate revenue. It's a problem. You have a plethora of things in our current day society that community associations that were built even 10, 20 years ago, and many of them even farther, that the documents do not speak about what's going on or what we have to do within our current day. And that's where the attorney bills can skyrocket. You've got home-based business. You've got drones and drone use. You have solar panels. You have, here's a great one, pandemics. How does your community association handle a pandemic? We've never really had a situation like COVID-19 before. Now, what does your document say? So you have all these things that your documents don't speak of. Somebody does something. Oh, a big one, Airbnbs. Right?
No, yeah, definitely.
So you have a homeowner who says, oh, I'm going to start using my home as an Airbnb. Well, your documents don't restrict it. So the board's like, wait a minute, you're bringing all kinds of strangers into our neighborhood now.
Are you kidding me? Yes.
Right. On a short-term basis, there's no qualification. You know, what if you're bringing pedophiles into our neighborhood? As a guy that has kids, that has 3 daughters, I'm terrified of that. So there's no speaking of it. Next thing you know, we're going to court and we're fighting over it. And guess who's making all the money? The law firm that's going to court for you, charging billable hours. But here's the thing, and this is the difference, also the difference between the Orlando Law Group. Well, let's amend your documents now. Let's do that at an affordable rate. Let's get all the potential adversarial points of discussion that we can, so that and this is what law does, right? When you have a contract that's 2,000 pages long, it's 2,000 pages long, but it also covers every potential hiccup that will prevent you from going and having high legal costs of battle anything out in court. So
you say, let's get ahead of this.
Right.
You know?
And that's one of the things we created the community care package for, which is our 12-month program for people to actually get a lot of free service, but get discounted billable rates for things because you're more on a retainer, so to speak. You're a 12-month contracted vendor we're a 12-month contracted vendor for you. And then you can get your documents redone. We even do a violation document synopsis, which is fabulous to an association member who doesn't want to read their 70-page document. So they can look
I
at that.
can't even read a recipe card. Are you kidding? I'm like, it's got 6 ingredients. I have to read all.
It's
No.
insane.
Yeah.
But you get that document synopsis says, hey, you can't paint your house purple. You have to only bring your garbage out when it's 6 o'clock in the evening, the day before garbage. All these different things that people, true story. One of my friends on Facebook got a $200 fine yesterday because he put stuff out 2 days before the garbage day so that people could pick through, and it was good stuff that his son didn't need. And so all these people had been coming by, grabbing the stuff from the curb. He got a $200 fine for it. He's like, why would you do that? Well, if he would have known that that was a huge violation and he would get a $200, he probably didn't know that.
Right.
But that's where the problems lie. So let's get ahead of it. Let's put community back into association law. Let's make sure your community is in harmony and everybody knows the rules, or at least the main ones, and make sure that we don't have as much adversarialness, and then the budget doesn't have to go up because of increased legal expenses.
You're just a good person, Mark. You're just a good person. You can just tell. All right. So before we head out to end here, you've got a little bit of a special, some billable hours that you're offering to people.
Right. So this is our community care package. Actually, I got approval from our fearless leader, Jennifer Englert, to offer this. We have the community care package, which I was talking to you about. It's a 12-month program where you can pay $150 a month for 12 months, get free collections, a set of covenant enforcement demand letters for free, 5 free billable attorney hours on top of that, and then instead of a regular billable hourly rate of $275 to $300, if you're a community care package and you use billable hours that goes beyond your 5 hours, it's only $220 an hour. So it's a huge, amazing discount. It's and here's the great thing: if anybody watching, if you mention this show, this episode, we are going to also give you an additional month free and 2 more free billable hours. So instead of 5, you'll get 7. Instead of 12 months, you'll get 13 months. So it's just another way. Obviously, you do specials, you try to generate more interest, but really what we wanted to do, and the great thing about Jennifer Englert, I said, hey, what do you think about 1 month free? She was like, yeah, but how about 2 more free hours? And that's the boss I work for. Yeah. Right. Because she knows that people need that, especially right now. People are like, can you help us navigate COVID-19 so that our community can keep functioning? What can we do? Should we shut down our amenities? What do we tell our homeowners? There's a lot of things that are happening right now. While everybody else is laying off, I'm still working. Because we have a ton of stuff to cover. So that's just a huge benefit for all the community associations out there to get some of these things for free. And also, again, like I said earlier, don't get price gouged. We're not giving you free service to price gouge your homeowners. We're giving you free service so that you can navigate and not rely on your manager to manage your way out of legal stuff, which, by the way, is a huge benefit to our CAMs out there because they don't like doing that either. Right. They get to work on managing the association. So
that's what they do best and what they enjoy. Right.
Exactly.
Bringing community together. Mark, we got to wrap up here, but let's get some contact information. How can people get a hold of you and find out more?
Okay, well, obviously, I'm on every form of social media, from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram. Our law firm's website is www.theorlandolawgroup.com. They are also on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. Mark King 14, MARKKING 14, I believe, is my Facebook, and Instagram and Twitter. You can call me at 407-267-5149. That's my personal line. Call me.
Wow.
If you want to talk basketball, if you want to talk community association, if you want to talk being a dad, I don't care. I love people. I just want to open myself up to that. Give me a call so I can discuss whatever you need. I'm a basketball coach as well, and I know you know that, but I'm not just a basketball coach. I call myself a coach. I just happen to coach basketball. I happen to coach community association stuff. I just love coaching and helping and being a help. And I love being coached as well. I learn stuff all the time, and that's part of being a networker. A lot of people on LinkedIn, especially, they want to network all day long, but they want to sell you something. Right. I enjoy the camaraderie and
being the relationships.
Right, right, for
Yep.
sure.
Mark, so good to talk to you. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we'll talk again soon, okay?
It has been my pleasure. Thanks,
Thank
Suzanne.
you.